leis gur rárach spór sa teolach, chabatte an dúr Emily Carrick-Anderson Kilcoyne go héin, gus a slia I dheanú sias na slíon rárach beinne.
My dad he started cycling before like I did and everything, so he was a professional cyclist. So it's kind of just in the family. And then like I can't even remember learning to ride a bike. I think I could ride a bike without stabilisers by the age of like 2.5. And same with my brother, so it's kind of like we just have known it all our lives and just grew up in a pretty sporty family, so it's just kind of always been with us. I'd say when you move into the sort of youth categories, so sort of under 16 age is when it starts getting a little bit more serious. It's still good fun, but that's when you start looking at teams and stuff like that and thinking about whether you want to continue, like move on to the junior category afterwards. So probably about the age of like 14 is when you start like maybe training a bit harder and stuff like that. I never really had like that one moment where I was like, this is what I want to do, because it's kind of just always been so normal to me just growing up. I was always thinking I wanna be a professional cyclist. Obviously the more recent years I have been more thinking like, do I want to go to uni or do I want to actually like pursue this? But I think it's definitely something that I want to try and continue doing for as long as possible. So yeah.
Cúidir bhí rothaireachd agus rárach beinne, ha Emily farpas in a cyclocross, spórs nach furas de idir.
So they are very different sports. There's completely different things in them. So mountain bike is a summer sport. It's the season is in summer. Cyclocross, the season is in winter. Mountain bike, you're obviously on a mountain bike, which looks like this. And then cyclocross, you're on, it looks like a road bike, but with mountain bike tyres, a little bit thinner, but they're still knobbly. And basically cyclocross, you're in a muddy field or something like that, and you're having to do around a 45-minute race where you're having to get off your bike, lift it over obstacles like hurdles, lift it up steps, carry it. Sometimes you're running, if the mud's too thick, you have to run through the mud. Whereas mountain bike is a very on-bike sport, tends to be about an hour to an hour and a half race. It's more longer hills and longer descents, whereas cyclocross is a flatter sort of thing, and it's like a shorter amount of time but a higher intensity, whereas mountain bike you're kind of got long efforts in the uphills and then you're kind of technical descents and stuff like that. I'm training pretty much every day. I ride about 5 days a week and then do sort of gym twice a week. And obviously it's a lot of hard work and effort, but when you're thinking about it, all you're really doing is going out and doing what you love and just riding your bike, so it's not that much hard work until you have like 20-minute hill efforts, and then it gets a bit harder. My favourite part of it is just going down a hill as fast as I can, so like that's what I love about it, and just like the risk taking, and you do just get a sort of rush of adrenaline when you're like going off like a massive drop or something.
Se blian na dúlaich a bhaimne Emily an Nuri, I dhéanamh déalaigh le tínas agus tonsillitis. Ach chaine sláiteire a sé féin seachad in na dúlainn seo.
It was very frustrating, I think, especially during the cyclocross season, because it was winter. I get ill quite a lot, but it was just sort of like I'd be training for a week and then I'd get ill, and then you can't train for like a good few days, because if you're training through illness you're just never going to get any better, and then every race I'd feel like I wasn't at my maximum potential just because I hadn't had a proper solid block of training. I was just constantly getting ill and stuff, so it is frustrating, and I think like with athletes getting illness or injury, like it's probably the most frustrating thing that can happen. I kind of think if I can get through that and still be where I am right now, I think you can sort of get through anything. Obviously it's just like people say, it is just little illnesses, but it's a big thing for athletes and it is quite hard, but yeah, I feel stronger now that I've managed to get through it.
O Húngarit ba Emily Rárach ag farpis cyclocross na Crunne, agus hain mochil as a chorm ALBA ruch go hug. At the bhai farpis, bhuaigh cúideach bhfuil barrachd in SAS aus na program in Rárach.
Yeah, I mean, World Championships is just like completely different race to any other race you do. The atmosphere is crazy. There's so many British people travel like abroad to go and watch it and things like that. So like everyone's shouting at you whether they know you or not, and the whole atmosphere is just completely different. And obviously all the best people in the world are there, so you're literally racing the best in the world, and seeing like the proper professional athletes racing as well is a crazy atmosphere. It's really good. I think Scotland is so good for the cycling community, and I think it's a lot better than a lot of other countries do for the sport. But yeah, they do so much for me, and like they give you the resources to be able to go to races and have coaches, and even just little like things like a weekend training day, they organise stuff like that, and it's just so much easier to get through like winter rides when you're like with a group of people, so it is really good. I think recently like more and more girls have been joining, it's definitely growing, and I think that's really good, just to show that right now at the moment I'd say women in cycling, the racing is just as good as men's racing. It's just as good to watch, just as good atmosphere, the women are at just as high a level, so I think getting more girls into it is just going to get bigger and bigger.
Le cyclocross deiseil chun na gauri, han focus go léirigh Emily Nish an taisin a rothaireachd agus rothaireachd beinne har hín.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty happy. Obviously the season wasn't very smooth with illnesses and everything, but I think by the end of the season I managed to get back up to where I felt like I wanted to be. So yeah, all eyes on the cross-country season now. Mountain bike is my favourite discipline. And yeah, just to get back on the cross-country bike, see what I can do in my last year of being in the season, and just see, hopefully I can get some good results and see how it goes. Well, the biggest race is obviously World Champs in August, but you know, it's kind of just a wait and see how the season goes. I got to get selected for that first, so I can't really put away any of the other races. I need to do well in them first. Just hopefully maybe get some podiums at some nationals and then see how Worlds goes.
Emily Carrick na páirt to skip a GB, agus ha an náchas nóchgóch ag na Olympics in Tommy Chach. See gadgeach in your brother if you
I mean, my brother got on Team GB before me, and then it was kind of like, oh, you know, this is kind of in my sights. And then when I got on the team, like, I think you kind of don't really realise how big a thing it is. You're kind of like, oh, I'm on Team GB, because when you're on it, it's quite a normal thing. Like, you know, it's just a team that you're just racing with. But when you think about it, you know, like you are representing your country, and you know it is a bigger thing than I always think it is, so yeah, I am really proud to be on it. Olympics is something I'd always wanted to do. Obviously I don't know how many years that would be, but that would be the biggest goal, just to go. I'm not bothered about results or anything, just, you know, try and get selected for that one day would be amazing. And as like a young child doing sport, I think that's what everyone always dreams of. I think going to that, like, you know, your life is complete, I think.